right, well, welcome back to a show where we ask the important questions like, do video games suck? Do the angels suck? No, the answer to both those questions is, well, actually, I was going to say to both those questions is yes, but video games do not suck. But we'll get to that, and, yeah, we're gonna ramble at each other and probably, have fun talking.
That was rough.
That was a little bit less of a, I don't know where I'm going with this, but a little bit more of a did not stick the landing.
You tried something and then
I was trying to go for something and then I just couldn't.
you petered out there at the end there. You lost a little bit of confidence at the end there.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. Is anybody really watching these? That's the real question. Maybe that's all I should have said.
No one really watches this, so who cares?
Should have just started off with like, the real question is, are any of you guys watching? I don't know. I doubt it.
That is the real question. That is 1,000.
Leave a comment down below if you're watching right now.
That is the real question. Oh, criminy. Oh, wait, I can open my notes tab. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. So, speaking of things that are dead, is Xbox dying? So, rumor has it that what Xbox is basically going to be doing at some point soon, I suppose, is one, there's a couple rumors. One, Starfield is going to the PlayStation. I know, the audacity, the horror. And basically, two, is that's all they're really going to do, is Xbox is going to pull back away from consoles, stick to sort of just publishing and Game Pass, which for me sounds like a giant win, because I've said for years, if Xbox really wants to do well, screw making games. Just focus on your thing. And there have been comments, but we'll sort of see. So
I mean, like, because for me, the whole thing, look, Microsoft really just doesn't care about consoles anymore. Like, the console marketplace is, I wouldn't say it's dead necessarily, but it's definitely dying.
Yeah.
Most people are realizing what I realized, for how long ago was I about this computer? Like 3 years ago? 4 years ago? I think about it around the beginning of the pandemic. I can't remember for sure though. But they're realizing that if you invest in a computer, it's gonna, the years it's gonna give you, and then when you're ready, when like, say your graphics aren't up to speed, you just update your graphics card for a couple $100 rather than, and that's every 10 years rather than buying a $600 console every 5.
Yeah. I do think when it comes to at least consoles, in a sense, I think most people who play sort of have the same thought process I've had the last few years, where it's PC for 9 out of 10 games, and then exclusives, you just get PlayStation. Like, that's the way it really should be. And I think that's the way most people play it, is most people go that direction of, if it's on both that I want to play at console, I'd rather play it on PlayStation, or if it is like on Game Pass, I'll play it on Game Pass or Steam. Like, that's really where the majority of gamers are. Like, that's not I don't think that's a secret at this point. That's where most people are. Truthfully, I mean, at the end of the day, the whole thing is, as somebody said it earlier, I mean, PlayStations and Xboxes and Switches are, bad PCs at the end of the day.
I mean, really though. I mean, and that's the thing, is you wonder, like, with this kind of thing, you wonder how many more iterations of the PlayStation are left, because not because, I mean, obviously the PlayStation still sells well.
I'll say this, until PC prices drop, there's still going to be a market, strictly because there are non-gaming parents and gaming grandparents who will buy consoles because
But as our generation gets older, that'll also start to phase out too. So that's what I'm saying. Like maybe we eventually get to like Sony goes, the PS10 is the final iteration of the PlayStation.
I don't think it'll ever happen. I think there's still like that nostalgic thing of a gaming console. You know, it's not. You're not gonna phase it out. I don't think. I think they're still gonna be there. I just don't necessarily know into what capacity, because you are gonna reach a point, and I've said this for years, that you're gonna reach a point eventually where it's just there is no longer graphical improvements or anything. It's just it's gonna feel like a sports game. Really?
I mean, even from the PlayStation 4 to the PlayStation 5 or the Xbox One X to the Xbox
XX,
whatever, Xbox Series S and X, the graphical improvements, at least to my eyes, from what I've seen, I think the big thing is they run higher intensive games more smoothly.
That's
about it.
Which is
it's not like if I popped in Call of Duty on the one of the last like ones that was designed for the Xbox One, and then like saying the one that's optimized for the Xbox One X, and then popped in the same thing on the Series X. It's not like I'd get much else other than, wow, I'm not really getting any of that, like, you know, you might be able to say, okay, like, yeah, that looks a little bit smoother, because, you know, as anybody who goes from a lower graphics card to a higher graphics card can tell you, like, yeah, you get to a point where you're like, oh my gosh, this, like, I would love to, in the, you know, we'll see when I get the money, but like, eventually I'll replace my graphics card, and then I'll go back and run Starfield.
And have it run right,
like ultra high whatever resolution and everything, and see what the experience is like, because I'm sure I would go and be like, oh my gosh, that is just that much smoother, sort of thing. But and you know, maybe like the details are just that much more crisp, but it's just like that extra little, like,
yeah,
I mean,
you're not,
I haven't been so enamored by graphical improvements since my family went from like a old CRT TV
to an HD.
It was the first time we got a plasma and we were watching a Lakers game. Like, it was literally like,
it's night and day.
We bought a plasma. We got the plasma. We got the HD satellite hookups, and we went to watch the Lakers game. And my dad literally made the comment, "Man, you can literally see them sweat." Whereas before, you could kind of tell they were sweating, but it's like, yeah. After that, it was like you could see like the moisture, but like after that, it was like, okay, yeah.
I mean, I've made the comment before, and I sort of stand by it when it comes to this stuff. I mean, again, they are just, you know, PCs. They're just they're bad PCs. Going like a PS5, you know, it's got 16 gigabits of, you know, 16 gigs versus 8 on the PS4. HDMI is at 4K. Whoopie-doo. 120 hertz versus, you know, 180, you know, 1080p at 60. Like, which again, like, if you put this into a computer, it's a bad PC. You know, so
yeah.
And mind you, the PlayStation 5 is the stronger of the consoles. So take that for what it's worth. Like I said, I will. I think I will always say, if you want a console, get yourself a console. Consoles are great. If your PC can't handle it, it's a great way to play games the way they're supposed to be played without your PC doing a lot of the work.
You know, the last time
I will never say no.
The last time I played on a console was before I moved. I have literally. Oh, well, you know what? That's not completely true. My Switch does count as a console, I guess.
No, it doesn't. It's a phone.
I mean, it's kind of a console, but you're right. No. It's like, it's not the same as if I was to plug in my Xbox One X and be like, hey, I'll play this game. Like, that's a full console experience. The Switch is more or less a handheld that you can plug in.
No, like I said, I will never fault someone who's like, I just want to play console. Dude, play console.
Yeah, no. But I, I do think Sony needs to improve their game of like establishing their own version of Steam.
If they did that, if
or
Sony,
the Xbox app.
Here's what Sony needs to do. If Sony really wants to be like, we want to put a dagger into Microsoft, it's literally screw this model they have now, which I think is horrendous for their stuff, where it's it's over $100.
Stick the dagger in Microsoft unless you're saying get rid of consoles. I mean, yeah, okay, that's
no, I'm saying if they wanted, it's not
open to kill them
if they wanted
all the good developers.
If they wanted to like go on par with them, all Sony has to do is be like, hey, we're gonna be like Xbox and we're gonna do a monthly subscription that's not like what we have because it's horrible. We're gonna do a $10 and a $15 tier. If you get the $15 tier, you can use your Sony account, play your games you already have on your PC, fully PC ported. And at $10, it can just be on your PC, but you get this entire backlog and exclusives. Like all they have to do is make the Sony version of Xbox store on the store, put it on console instead of this bullshit they have now. You'd have happy Sony ponies instead of having to pay over $100 to play some of these games. You're giving them for $15 a month, which is, I mean, still over $100, but.
And then those subscription fees are rolling in every month.
Yeah, like I pay for the lowest tier yearly, and it's gone since I got it in in the 4 years I've had it. I think it's gone up 3 out of the 4 years. It was $60 and $70. Now I think I'm at $80. And it's getting to the point where I was like, I'm literally just paying to be online. I can play on my PC and not have this issue.
Remember when the way they got us was you, like to play online on the Xbox 360, you had to buy a gold.
Yeah, it's still like that.
I mean, technically you have to do that on a console, but
you still have to do that. Console. You have to do that on every console. Like there is no.
You have to do that on the PlayStation Network. I thought the PlayStation Network.
No,
was
you
free.
have to do it on the PlayStation 2. Play on
the PlayStation Network. Used to be free.
It used to be free, but then they switched it up. So now it's you have.
I mean, they really had to fund it. So
they went the way of Xbox, where they sort of went the way of Xbox in the beginning, where it was like games with gold. Like they still have like, oh, here you get 2 free games, but it's like nothing. I think I've gotten like a couple of games that I was excited for that I think I got either on Epic for free or somewhere like they were on Xbox already, like for free for a while. So it's not exactly like a good deal. I have friends who argue with me that it's great, and I'm like, I don't see the value in it, truthfully. But again, but I have a PC.
It's funny because my brother got a Switch recently, and he was complaining about the fact that he has to pay for Nintendo Online.
Nintendo Online is $20 for a year.
Well, I know that's what I was saying. It's like it's not that expensive, and like
$20 a year is.
You actually get. I feel like with Nintendo's, you actually get a pretty good deal because you get like a decent backlog of games.
I think it's gotten better, but I wish they'd open it up a little bit more. But I mean, again, it's the thing with Nintendo. To me, like the $20 base for Nintendo, I don't think it's an issue. I think that's more than fair compared to what everything else is.
I mean, I forget what the amount is, but I pay for the like.
Yeah, it's like you have like the $61 one, right?
Which you're mooching off for free.
I don't even use it much anymore, and I gotta play my Switch.
You have access to Nintendo 64 games.
I do. I was playing Paper Mario 64. I think I'm like halfway through it, and I stopped playing it. I gotta play that.
Maybe that's what you should be streaming.
I thought you wanted me to say I gotta finish Final Fantasy 7.
Well, that's one of the ones on here, right?
It's play Final Fantasy 7.
Well, I think nope. This one.
There you go. Yeah, I'm on the last chapter.
Hey, at least this one doesn't have any what's it called?
Oh, weird issues with it. Yeah,
the white space. That this is always applicable. Um,
But
we talked about that last week, right?
yes,
So,
yes,
I mean, we'd get to it
yes.
later if we did. But
Did
yeah.
So we went from console suck to video games in general suck, and here's what spurred this on. During the week, I was watching good old Asmongold, and there was a video he talked about that was called, and I quote, I think legitimately, what was it called? Why video games feel like a chore was the title of this video. And basically, the thesis statement of this game was video games suck. Video games basically suck because, well, they're not what they used to be. And why? What do I mean they weren't what they used to be? Well, let's flash back here, children. If you've played the new Pokemon game, how long did it take you to get out in the open world? Oh, let me tell you, about 2 to 2.5 hours. Yeah. And that's a trend that has continued. So, do you...
It really depends. I guess it really depends on what you want your video games to be, right? Like
trial by fire. For me,
well,
I don't.
Well, I mean, like, look, when we grew up, because of the lack of, of a good way to do online play, like there were small attempts in the 90s.
What in the unholy hell is behind you?
It's
your pillow.
Like a pillow that's part of the chair.
This. I'm like,
it can either be pillow or like lumbar.
You don't have a lumbar thing? I have but there is a lumbar pillow. Do you not have a lumbar? They gave you one. That is my
lumbar pillow. I can either make it my lumbar pillow or my headrest.
Wait, your chair only has one?
Oh wait, no, mine had a second one, but I was uncomfortable with the lumbar pillow.
I'm like, wait, you don't have two pillows?
Oh,
jeez. Sorry, go on.
But when we grew up, like video games tended to be mostly about the experience of the game itself, not like how do we do online play or a bunch of mini games or
I don't think this has anything to do with online play. This is strictly speaking to one player games.
But I'm talking about the fact that the reason video games have are we talking like, sorry, maybe I misunderstood the question. Are we talking, do video games themselves suck when you play them, or are we talking about
does the experience feel lesser because you're now going through here, let me ask, do the games feel worse now because they've extended that tutorial that was maybe, let's say, an hour, in that first hour of gameplay where it's kind of like it's a little hand-holdy, it's sort of giving you're sort of, they're dragging you slowly into it, right? And it was like they use Fallout New Vegas as an example for this, where it's like the town of Good Springs is really kind of like the first branching of it, where it's like you set up your character, you do you do that one quest with the girl, I can't remember, and then it's the Powder Gangers, and then once you don't the Powder Gangers, it's sort of like, okay, now we're gonna head to Vegas. You're heading towards New Vegas for the most part. Like how that first chunk has gone from maybe 45 minutes to an hour to now, like I said with my example of Pokemon, where it was like it's pulling 2 hours here, 2.5 hours. Like that part where it's just like, it's not fun. It's just, where it's the whole thing. It's like a show where it's like, oh, all you gotta do is get through the first 13 episodes for it to get good. And it's like, Jesus Christ, I have to get through the 13 episodes to get for this thing to be good, sort of thing, where it's like, oh, just get through the first, like Starfield's a prime example where how many people were like, get through, like, how many times, like, even like, I mean, I never finished playing it because I got caught up in other things, but like, how people would be like,
I did,
but like, when you're playing through, I heard people say the first 20 hours, the first finished playthrough or whatever, it was just sort of like the goalpost kept getting shifted on when it felt like, okay, you're now able to sort of do whatever you want, it for the most part. And it's almost like, and I get it, like some games are kind of like storyline where it's like bam, bam, bam. but
wham bam, thank you, ma'am.
But where it's just this like pulling of the tutorials and stuff, where it's no longer, kind of figure it out for yourself as you go. It's almost like we're going to show you everything, and then maybe you'll get to do your thing. That's what I was saying.
Well, but that's what I'm trying to say is like I think a lot of these games have suffered because the focus hasn't been on how do we make this a completely, like, obviously Starfield's a good example because I think it's just affected all games, even though Starfield's not an online experience for everybody to enjoy together. And so the focus is completely on the story, but it suffers because I think there's so much focus on tutorials from the industry because the industry has shifted its focus on how to make, like, it's less because most games that you're popping in, you're not popping in and going, oh man, I still haven't played the Halo Infinite. Wait,
hold on. Maybe I should readjust what I'm trying to get at. Do you think the fact that games aren't made by gamers anymore, is that the root of the issue? That game developers aren't gamers at the core anymore. They're coders, they're programmers.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Who don't know
everything,
that
everything in video games now is done as a cash grab. It's how do we make an experience that will.
I'm not even saying cash grab. I'm just.
It's all business. No. That's exactly what I'm saying.
I don't even think it's a cash grab thing. Like Baldur's Gate, everyone says Baldur's Gate is like the greatest game they've ever played. My simple question is, if it was like, I think there are cash grab games where like your Call of Duties and even the game, the show are cash grabs.
But I'm saying even Starfield suffers from a cash grabby nature. Now, to be fair, but it doesn't suffer immensely. Bethesda, for all its faults, at least does put years into its development to at least make sure that they're putting out what they think is the best product.
Yeah.
But I do think that there is a nature of well, how can we make this experience fun for gamers? The focus has gone away from that and to
how do you make it fun?
How can we do something that's going to sell a lot of copies?
Maybe.
And sometimes it's funny. There are big games that are fun experiences that
how
well as well. Like look at Among Us and Fall Guys in the past 3 or 4 years.
Those have been the
those are exceptions. Those aren't the rules. And even those wind up doing stuff to the marketplace when they're successful, because then the marketplace copies them instead.
Well, it's not. I mean, the marketplace necessarily is copying them. I think live service games have a lot to do with it. Like we were talking last week about Suicide Squad. That's live service. Between live service games, everything being a live service game, everything not being made by guys who played games, you're entering this thing of almost. Maybe it is just as simple as like, oh, we want our money because they just want to make their money, and that's the way they feel like it. Is if the Andes and the
let me tell you, the reason a lot of these tutorials are long is because instead of coming up with intuitive ways to do the things that they want to do in these games, they come up with concepts and then say, all right, well, we couldn't figure out a way to make this more intuitive. So how about we give you a long tutorial to teach you all the button pressing you're going to have to be doing throughout this to make everything work. And so then they're like, well, we have to make this long tutorial. And that's why I'm saying the whole thing wraps into one.
Yeah, I guess
the way modern games are being designed have caused these developers to stop thinking about what's really important, which is making a game where I can just hop in and say, oh, well, I can play this.
Well, look at Power.
Starfield would be so much better if it was just like, hey, go in and do this.
Look at Power. Power literally drops you in a world and it's like, all right, figure it out.
Power World definitely does. But then again, it's an early release. I'm sure in their.
I don't. If they were to actually switch it to like an actual like linear thing, I think would lose a lot of it.
Well, I'm not saying it'd be linear, but I'm saying like it would give you more of a tutorial at the beginning.
I mean,
But Power World definitely assumes you're more versed in the
building
survival genre.
Yeah.
Like I was able to catch on to it easy not because it was super intuitive
No,
necessarily,
because you play Valheim.
but because I played Valheim a bunch and it's kind of a
similar concept. So that's always nifty. I think games are just going to get worse. Speaking of things that's
Well, here's the thing: the majority of games get worse, while there are those. I mean, like I just have a select few games I play. Like one of the games I play is 10 years old in NCAA 14, and then I play Rocket League. I play Valheim. Like there's games that are enjoyable.
I should state this. I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with games that, you know, you have to like log in. Like I have games that I mainly on my phone where it's like I log in, do my dailies, and then play it every couple hours. There's nothing wrong with that. On it, like that's fine with, you know, updated content and stuff. But it's just, I wish first player, like one single player only games that kind of go back to the way they were. You know, I can dream. It's never going to happen, but I can dream. Before we get into the football talk, spring training has kind of got started, and I asked a simple question: do we even care?
You're the baseball fan.
I don't. Care? I do. I truly do not care, and I mean, I don't.
Because the problem with asking me that question is spring training hasn't really mattered to me much, other than it's like a nice little like when it's brought up, it's like, oh hey, baseball season's just around the corner, and I start to think like, oh hey, is T-Mobile doing MLB TV again this year? And
yeah,
I think yes.
Yeah, I don't care.
But it's like, other than that.
Yeah, the answer for me is I don't care.
I care.
I don't.
Not about spring training, but I care about MLB TV. Because
I wouldn't even watch
all the Angels games.
Do you really want to?
I will through like May. And then...
I get asked again. I get asked like once a week. It's like, you wrote for the Angels? That sounds so cool. And every response I have to be, it's really not as cool as you think. Well, it sounds really cool. And I'm like,
just let it sound really cool so that you can
my general response is, oh, so you must be a fan of the team. And I literally said it today. I go, yeah, unfortunately. And they laugh and they're like, what? And I'm like, it's just misery. It's like it's watching a train wreck in slow motion.
Just watch.
It really is.
Just watch. Mid-May, maybe early June, we're gonna be talking like, oh, maybe is this, you know, Rendon seems like he might be back.
You know, I've learned. Hold on,
and then we're gonna get to like mid June,
July,
beginning of July, and we're gonna be like, oh, they suck.
I'm not gonna get my hopes up.
That's the Angels every year. You start off where they're like in contention, running in the AL West, and then it's
I made this comment and I stand by it.
Our bullpen's definitely better.
Ooh, yeah, but nothing else is. We have no left.
Our bullpen was the big weak spot.
We have no left-handed hitters who can in that lineup. We have no starters. It's cool. We fixed one thing, and there's still two other things that need to be fixed. You proud of yourself?
Maybe Rendon can hit left-handed for us.
No.
I mean, I think he bats 1,000 from the left side of the plate.
Oh, shut up! It's not even funny. That's just sad.
Oh goodness. Well, so the answer is no. Spects doesn't care, and
I don't.
I'll be ready for baseball season when it gets here. Mostly just because it's something to watch.
I'll watch it for a couple months, and then I'll probably just give up.
All right. Well, the Super Bowl will have already happened.
I'm gonna put the Super Bowl stuff up Sunday, so our pick will...
You know what's funny is you say that almost every time that one of these.
No, I'm going to. I literally will edit it tomorrow, and then I have it scheduled to go up Sunday at like noon.
That sounds promising.
I can, if it's in one thing, I
that
can.
That whole thing's going to start with me questioning whether you'll actually.
Yeah, it's going you. I hope you're happy.
Anyways, well, the Super Bowl, Chiefs versus the Eagles.
Wow.
I'm a year behind, apparently. No, Chiefs versus the 49ers. I don't know why Eagles came out of my mouth. I'm sorry. I'm tired. I've got my newborn coming out of the NICU tomorrow, so like my whole brain is just fried.
For the record, we're doing this like late. It's midnight for him. It's 11 for me. He's like, hey, let's do this tomorrow night. And we have we stream with one of our friends. We have like a bigger stream. I don't even think he's going to be there tomorrow, to be honest with you, because of that. But he's like, we could do it tomorrow night or it's going to be late. And I'm like,
I'll be on.
I almost said, hey, let's just do it tomorrow afternoon. But
I thought about it, but
we can cut this short. We can just we don't have to make it long. We're over half an hour.
It partially came down to just making sure Abby was going to be okay with it, mostly because she has to. Because we're actually, after we're done here, probably around 1 my time, we're gonna watch some more Breaking Bad. So she's taking a nap during all of this. No, Super Bowl. So, you got the Chiefs and the 49ers.
I'm not gonna beat
the word Giants kept coming to my mouth too, and now I'm like, what? I'm not
gonna beat the numbers to death. I don't. One, I don't know. One, I don't know, and two, I don't care. To be frank with you, I'm not gonna overanalyze it.
Here's my prediction. It's gonna be the Chiefs by 2 touchdowns.
That's a bold prediction.
35-21. Only reason I say that is because the Chiefs do have and look, if the 49ers win, I'm happy. But my reasoning, and again, this is, this could all just be completely wrong and completely out of left field. But my main reasoning is the 49ers' main source of offense is Christian McCaffrey. If you can shut him down, and I think that the Chiefs can at least contain him, then you're forcing Brock Purdy to make plays, and he's a good quarterback, but he's not gonna be leading the team with 450 yards and 5 touchdowns.
All right, I'm gonna push back on everything you just said and ask you one simple question: what wins the Super Bowl, a team or a quarterback?
A team. That's my point here.
So I'm gonna ask you this question: how many weapons do the Chiefs have? How many reliable weapons do the Chiefs have? 1, maybe 2.
On offense?
On offense. What? 1, maybe 2.
3.
I'm not including Mahomes, outside of Mahomes. If you want to put Mahomes,
then fine, 2.
So 2. If we want to count, so Kelsey and they're running back, right? Okay, let's look at the. Hold on. No, hold on.
You can't sit here and say, oh, hold on, not Mahomes. Let's not talk about Mahomes.
The reason why,
because Mahomes is the very reason. This is Mahomes because then what you're doing. Because who's the 49ers outside of Purdy? And let's include Purdy and all that.
Okay, outside of Purdy,
offensive weapon.
Outside of Purdy,
who do they have?
McCaffrey.
Who do they have?
McCaffrey. You have CMC. You have Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk. You have George Kittle.
Those are all solid players.
And by the way, Kyle Juszczyk.
Those are all solid players, but they require a good quarterback to make the full use of them.
They did. All they require, they've done it all year, and you can't give me.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did. When their offense is at full, when their offense, hold on. I'm going to
clock back to what? How many interceptions? 4 in one game when they shut down McCaffrey.
Cool. That was the regular season. I don't care.
But that's what I'm saying.
But that's what I'm saying. I had Mahomes all year.
Purdy is so untested.
I had Mahomes all year. I had Mahomes in Denver. He couldn't do jack diddly bubkiss against against
But
Denver.
what has he done in the playoffs?
What has Purdy
Because
done in the
you just made the point.
playoffs?
You just made the point. You just made your own point.
That they have more.
Just made your own point. No. If you want to throw the regular season out the door,
you're trying so hard to make the Chiefs argument.
No.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
No, because if you're going to make the point that this is all about performances in the playoff, look at Mahomes in the playoffs.
Look at Purdy in the playoffs.
Look at Travis Kelce in the playoffs.
Cool, that's two guys. You can I can shut down.
But look at Purdy in the playoffs. Look at Purdy in the playoffs.
Purdy took them back.
Two times they've had to make comebacks.
Cool, they won.
Sure.
That's all I care about.
They're not doing that against the Chiefs.
The Chiefs got lucky.
If they fall behind against the Chiefs, like they fell behind against the Lions, they are not coming back.
I disagree. Fully disagree.
They are not coming back.
I disagree. They don't have
the tools to overcome the Chiefs defense.
I don't think the Chiefs have them to come over to overcome the Niners defense. And I heard that from Kelce himself. Who said that?
That's true. The Niners defense is very good. Fred Warner is very awesome.
So you can't tell me you can't pick and choose your parts to make it fit and say, oh, their defense.
Picking and choosing.
No, I'm not. My entire point was Brock Purdy doesn't have to throw 400 yards for the Niners to win the Super Bowl on Sunday.
Yes,
he doesn't have to
because of Christian McCaffrey.
No, it's not.
My point. No.
If you make any offense one-dimensional, if you take away the running game and focus on the passing, and you know all they can do is pass it because we force them to do it, you can stop any offense. You're comparing the 4 interception game of Brock Purdy he did once. Look, and let me ask you this: what's the better loss? A loss to the AFC runner-up Ravens or a loss to the lowly Broncos? What is the worst loss? Because both of those two things happen.
Sure. But you're the one who told me to throw out the regular season.
Fine, look at the play. They're both doing well in the playoffs. But my point is when it's gonna. What is it gonna come down to?
We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that.
But what is it gonna come down to? What's it going to come down to? It's going to come down to can Purdy make one throw? If Purdy can make that one throw, it doesn't matter.
That's not the question.
What's the question then?
Okay. Let's say let's rewind the clock back to 2004.
Okay.
In the NBA.
Okay.
Well, okay, maybe more like 2005, 2006. Would you, if we had, let's take the 08 Lakers.
Okay.
Against the 06 Cavaliers.
Okay.
Who's going to win the finals? And what's one of your big reasons? Kobe had been there. The reason the Lakers dismantled the Magic in 09? Kobe had been there. That 09 Magic team was talented, but they didn't look like anything. This is a team in the Chiefs that has won 2 out of the past 3 Super Bowls.
We'll see. Ultimately,
all I'm saying is I think the Chiefs defense has enough talent on it to at least limit McCaffrey. And I think that gives just enough of a gap in terms of offensive talent between the Chiefs and the 49ers.
I think you're
because if you shut down Pacheco, you're going to be leaving Mahomes to run around all over the place and throw the ball to Kelce whenever he wants.
Okay, here's my rebuttal. Shut down
Mahomes, then you're going to get Pacheco running around all over.
Here's my rebuttal.
You don't have that with Purdy. Purdy's not going to play out of his mind like that.
Here's my rebuttal. Baltimore shut out Kansas City
I like Purdy.
in the second half. They scored 0 points against them. All the scoring was in the first half. If the Niners can do that, the Niners will score in the second half. The Chiefs had issues in the second half and scoring the entire time. And that's been in the playoffs too.
I think the problem there, and I think that's more of a coaching adjustment from Andy Reid.
If Andy Reid can make that adjustment now, cool. But he hasn't done it all year, including the playoffs. I'm not saying it can't happen, but I'm saying recent history has, like, the Ravens are a good defense. They shut them out. The Niners are a good defense. I don't think if that holds up and that continues, that the Niners just bend, don't break the entire time, they're going to win that game. Like, undoubtedly, they're going to win that game.
I think the thing you're bringing up with the AFC Championship game is mostly came down to the Chiefs played not to lose. It was not a matter of
if
a lack of ability.
If you're playing not to lose, if you're playing not to, no, but if you're playing not to lose in the title game, that's. I mean, I guess you can because
I don't disagree. I'm not exactly a Chiefs fan here. Look,
I'm not either. But my point is
I'm not really sure who I'm rooting for necessarily.
My point is, if you want to make the argument
because of the playoffs,
fine, that's fine. If you want to, because that was my point with the Ravens. That was my exact point. That was my exact point with the Ravens. I said I know what I'm going to get. I literally said I know what I'm going to get from Patrick Mahomes. I don't know what I'm going to get from Lamar Jackson. And if you want to make that, that's a valid argument. But I think at this point, it's a top to bottom.
Why aren't you making that argument against Brock Purdy?
Because I think that's part of it. But
Purdy
I think
has not shown that he's got that clutch.
I think my thing with when it comes to like looking at this thing is I don't see. To me, clutch at this point isn't a trait that can be quantified. And the reason why I say it can't be quantified is, okay, when it comes to playoff games, and you can laugh, yeah, you're proving my point. You're not. When it comes to these things, it comes down to one thing. If you want to say that's clutch this, that's fine. But it comes down to basically one play and that one play alone, right? In anything. All Purdy has to do is make that one play. That's been you can laugh and say, that's proven my point of clutchness. Mahomes has it. That's fine. I'm just saying it has to come down to that one play. Purdy's made that one play.
You're making it
has
seem,
made
though,
that one play.
But you're making it, but not only is the clutch part proving my point. Not only are you proving my point about.
I'm not saying it's clutch. All I'm just saying is if he had like when it came, but my thing is when it came down to the first game in 2020 in 2019 whatever 2019 it came down to Jimmy Garoppolo not being able to make the one throw essentially, right? And that's pure that was pure ability, right? Like it was pure ability. I think Purdy has that ability to make that one throw. And you could be like, well, that's clutch this. You're proving my point. I'm just saying when it comes in these games, it comes down to, can you make the one throw when you need to make the one throw? I think Purdy can make the one throw to make the one throw.
You've been reiterating that point over and over. Okay.
That's my point.
Can I get a word in? Because you keep cutting me out.
Because you kept just yammering.
I talked for about 10, 15 seconds.
You talked for 30 minutes.
No, hold on.
I'm muting my mic. You can go.
I talked for about 15 to 30 seconds, and then you go on for a full minute, 2 minutes. So
my name's first, jerk.
Let's not talk about yammering. Second of all, we haven't had a good one of these in a while. But second of all, yes, by very definition, what you're talking about is the clutch factor. And yes, you're right, it's not quantifiable, but in terms of if we talk about anecdotes, there are definitely anecdotes about Patrick Mahomes being clutch, and there's not a lot of anecdotes about Brock Purdy being clutch. When the 49ers have won close games, it's not been because of Brock Purdy. It's been because of Christian McCaffrey.
It hasn't been because Purdy sucks either.
Look, I'm not saying Purdy sucks. Whenever I have these kinds of debates, I think that's the problem I always end up having is people are going to hear this and go, Bryce doesn't like Brock Purdy. He thinks he sucks. No, I love Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy is great for the NFL. But my other point is you are assuming that this comes down to a one throw because it's a one score game kind of.
It comes down to one throw because the last three have been one throws.
But that's what I'm saying. Not every Super Bowl has to be down to one throw. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I think the Chiefs do come out of this game with a solid victory.
Well, I disagree. I think it's going to be 31-21 Niners. I think the Chiefs' struggles in the second half continue. I mean that truthfully. The Chiefs will play probably good enough to try to win, but I don't.
Your whole thing about Brock Purdy needing to make one throw is just bullcrap.
I said it's 31-21. I didn't say. I said I think their scoring continues, but he could make the one throw.
One throw, but they win by 10.
If I said 3, it's no fun.
I'm just saying.
Fine, he scores. He scores it.
You could have predicted something like 31 to.
I'm not gonna say 30. Want me to say 31-28? All right, but what if that? What if it's okay? But what if it's 24? What if it's 24? What if it's 24?
What you're suggesting.
I can paint the scenario for you to where this happens. It's 24-21. A minute and a half left, and Purdy has to make a long drive. He has to make it's a third and long.
That throw was not about putting them away. You were talking about overcoming the Chiefs.
Is that not overcoming the Chiefs? Now you're just trying to
That's not overcoming the Chiefs.
What is it?
That's
fine.
Fine.
He makes one throw to put him up 21-24, and Patrick Mahomes throws a pick six. Are you happy?
Yes, I'm happy.
I'm not changing my score. Like, the point can still remain of, it's a close game. He has to make this throw to get them to that point, whatever that point is.
Yeah.
My whole point and my entire crux of this is two things can exist at the same time. Patrick Mahomes can do Patrick Mahomes things and outplay everybody. But the biggest point I have to make is at some point during this playoff, and it's something that I think gets overlooked, and I don't understand why the smart guys and the analysis guys can't, for whatever reason, just be like, look, the Chiefs didn't score a single point in the second half of the AFC title game. The Niners scored 30. It's probably going to come down to... Why
did the Niners score 30, though?
It's probably going to come down to this, and I'm literally going to get right to it. It's going to come down to this, is whose fault...
Why did the Niners score 30,
Oh, my God, I'm getting to my point of whose fault is going to cause the bigger problem. The Niners not being able to score in the first half, or the Chiefs not being able to score in the second half.
But my point is, if the Niners do what they've done the past two games against the Chiefs, they're not coming back. The Chiefs' defense is better than either of the two that the Niners have faced.
You want to look at some of those linemen they got some big dudes.
We're talking...
No, but you keep. I get when it comes to the Chiefs defense, but it's just like I don't know what. I think you're over. I think you're vastly overestimating.
If you dig yourself a hole, I don't think the Niners have enough to come back all the way.
And
you're not suggesting that even happens.
I'm not suggesting it's not even going to happen. My entire crux is I don't know which one is going to be worse. The Chiefs not being able to score for the latter half of the game, or the Niners not being able to score in the first half.
And you're assuming that's the question. Happen. But the whole thing is I think that's part of why that's a big reason why I'm saying playoff experience is going to be a big.
Then if that's the case,
Super Bowl experience is going to play a big factor.
Then if that's the case, and the Chiefs are going, then the Chiefs will win it then they'll win it by your score easily. But I can't overlook what I saw in 2 games and saw one offense come alive and one offense flatten. Like, that's what I saw. One offense scored 30 unanswered and one couldn't score anything. Like, you can't overlook that. And for whatever reason, I don't know why you're not hearing that analysis from people. Is that because when it comes down to it, it really feels like it's your point of, well, they got Patrick Mahomes and the Niners got Brock Purdy.
It's a valid argument that you have to overcome.
No, but if that's the whole argument, then why are we playing this game? Like, and I'm not trying to be that. I'm not trying to just say like, oh, well, Brock Purdy deserves some more credit. I'm literally asking the question though of, if it comes down to quarterback play, then fine, the Chiefs are going to win. But if we're looking at it as a whole, what's going to hurt? What's going to hurt more? Not scoring in the first half and being down 3 scores, which I think's horrible, or not being able to score in the second half.
All I'm saying is due to Mahomes being elite and due to Purdy being unproven, your 3-way tandems of Mahomes, Pacheco, and Kelsey versus Purdy, McCaffrey, and Ayuk,
and Kittle,
the Chiefs,
and Samuel.
The Chiefs win.
And if it comes down to that, then it comes down to that. I don't think it's going to be that simple.
Those are the main, but that's the main offense versus the main offense.
That's fine.
I think the Chiefs have enough. I think the Chiefs have enough gas in them.
I don't, and I get what you're saying. I just don't see how 3 can outweigh 6. I don't see it.
You and I
don't see it.
No, you and I both know that 3 can win you.
Cool. That's fine. But like I said, I can't
look at the 04 look at like the heyday USC Trojans. That was often a 3-man job of, Reggie Bush, Matt Leinart, and
that talent, but that talent combined outplayed every team except Texas.
Well, yeah, no 5.
But the point is when it comes to football, things can happen.
But that's what I'm saying. You're sitting here going, well, there's these other, and it's like, I don't think that plays as much of a factor into this game. If we were talking over the course of a full season, yeah, that's why we saw the 49ers win more games. We're talking about winning one big game and having a coach who's been there and done it twice, having a quarterback who's been there and done it twice, and having an elite tight end, and having a very good running back, and an elite quarterback versus a good quarterback, a very good wide receiver, and an elite running back.
You have 2 elite wide receivers. I don't know why people want to just pick one. They have 2 elite wide receivers, and an elite tight end, and an elite running back, and an elite fullback.
Yeah, but they can't all be making plays every play.
All I'm saying is, in the 60 minutes you're gonna get, we'll see what happens. Is it the?
And you are using the word elite very loosely.
They themselves have said it. Like, I don't understand why you're downplaying their. I don't get it. I'm not going to continue this conversation.
Look.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm not continuing this conversation because this is just going to turn into us trying to rank players, and I don't want to rank players. If you see it, but if you see, no, that's fine.
But that's what I'm saying is I see McCaffrey as an elite player. I see everyone else on that offense as either very good or good.
Okay, we're gonna leave this here because this is going nowhere. Bryce is taking the Chiefs 31 and apparently giving the Niners nothing with 35-21. I say the Niners win 31-21. We'll see what's going on. I'm not even salty. I'm not mad. I'm not anything. I can't continue this conversation when your literal argument is, well, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce are elite, and the Niners have Christian McCaffrey, and that's it. I can't have this. I can't continue. I can't have discourse with that when you're literally just trying to be like, it's that, and you said it. You keep saying it's that.
What are you expecting me to do then?
I'm literally trying to explain to you that
hold on.
No. You've had it. You've been talking. I'm going to this is my turn. I've literally said the players themselves have literally said, hey, George Kittle's probably one of the best, is probably the number 2 best tight end, maybe number 3 tight end in the league behind Kelce and maybe Matthews, if you want to be technical. McCaffrey, yeah, we know where McCaffrey is. Ayuk and Samuel are 2 very elite wide receivers. I can't fathom this weird logic of, well, they're very good. No, they're elite. Let's stop pretending that the Niners are made up of Cracker Jacks and bubblegum. No, they have elite players. I want you to understand this concept of they're not chums. They're not. Yes, you did. You're like, they're very good. They're not elite. They're very good. No, they're elite. Stop trying to fool yourself into that they're not elite. They're elite. That's been my point. And I'm not going to just let you be like, well, they're trash because they're not Travis Kelce. That's stupid.
I never said they were.
Yes, you did. You literally were like, they have Christian McCaffrey and Ayuk. That's it. Everybody else is very good. No.
No.
Yes, rewind
what I
it.
said was their main tandem. What I said was their main
you
tandems.
Did not. You did not. You're gaslighting me.
If I could rewind it, I would.
You did not say that.
That is exactly what I said. If I could rewind it, I would.
You did not.
If I could
again,
pull up an instant replay, I would.
We're gonna end this here because it's 11. It's almost 1 a.m. for you. It's almost midnight for me. I don't want to have this conversation anymore because again, it's not going anywhere. We'll see what happens. We'll see it play out, and we can discuss it.
No. Hold on. You have us debating here.
We're not. Are you gonna change your mind?
Hold on. That's the entire point of what we're doing.
What? That I'm literally telling you.
So if you're just going to say, I'm going to take my ball and go home, why are we even debating in the first place?
Because you made your point. I've made my point. We're just arguing that, but there's
no. But that's not how you're treating this. You're not saying, oh, well, it was an interesting debate.
Cool.
Bryce.
It was an interesting debate, Bryce. I think you're wrong.
I can't even deal with Bryce.
Because I'm literally telling you, I've literally said, why are you downplaying them? You're like, because we're talking about tandems. Okay, then it's not a tandem. They have more than the Chiefs. I don't get why you can't grasp that idea and why you're so fixated on it's Kelce and Mahomes.
What I am saying is what I said was their main sources of offense, the ones that they're going to be able to tap the well at multiple times over and over. I just saying that I feel like it favors the Chiefs, particularly due to playoff experience. That is all of anything I've ever said. Now, what you're saying is well, Bryce, look, I've been debating you, and you haven't been changing your mind the way I want you to. So we might as well not even debate.
I don't want you to change your mind. I just want you to listen to what I'm saying and say,
I did. But I did, and then I came. No. But then I came back. With a rebuttal, And instead of continuing to rebut back with me,
Because I don't want. Because I'm not gonna argue in a circle.
You're just taking your ball and going home.
Cool. I'm taking my ball and going home. That's fine. Because I don't want to keep arguing in circles. We're not. This isn't productive. It's not doing anything. This feels like me arguing with Skip Bayless.
Welcome to sports radio, friend.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it at 11:41. I don't want to do it. I really don't. Like I can't keep arguing the same point over and over again. It's a waste of my.
Since I'm driving,
it's a waste of time.
Since I'm driving, guys. Thanks for joining us. Have a good week. See ya.